foundation training was another situation for me.
All right.
So my year was the first year where they introduced a new system where it was the situational judgment tests and the two kind of interview kind of type style thing. And my final year went through a meltdown because first situational judgment test, because it was the first year, there wasn't much past papers, wasn't much, so kind of trialing it.
Yeah.
So when in final year I was doing well, the cases were going okay, you know, had issues here and there, but generally was doing okay. But when I was preparing, you know, and the interviews there, I come across quite confident. So I was kind of working in team, practice with each other and all of that. But when it came to the interview day for my foundation training, I did well in one interview, did okay. The professional one, not so good, but okay. But the situational judgment test, I missed out the last, I ran out of time. I missed out the last 7 or 10 questions. I ran out, and that cost me big time. And I didn't get a place in the first round.
Wow.
I was in the bottom 30. So I was like, whoa.
So the score from this, just for people that don't understand, would help you to get your preferred location, region in the country. And then once you got your region in the country, it would also help you compete for a dental practice within that region. So that's the importance of the score.
So, and historically, looking at people who were, so I remember out of number one, it was 1,244 students that took it. I was 1,221. I'll never forget that.
Wow.
Everybody was shocked. My friends, my lecturers, because I was doing okay. It was a big, and I actually left. I was a bit worried that I didn't finish the exam, but I thought, you know what, it's fine. But when I got it back, I was mortified. I couldn't believe it. And looking historically, everyone who kind of got in my kind of rank, they didn't have jobs in the first round. Thinking, how can I come back to London? All my people know that I'm going to be a dentist. They say, Kevin, when you're working, will I come and see you? All that kind of stuff. My network, my family, my friends. And I come back and say, I passed, but I didn't have a job. How do you explain that?
Yeah.
So fortunately enough, I had a friend, Abraham, shout out Abraham, trust me, big time. He was in the year 2 years above me, and he's Scottish.
Yeah.
And he told me at the beginning, Kemp, apply to Scotland. You never know what will happen, just apply and you see what happens. Thank God that I applied to Scotland. Because when I applied to Scotland, I was able to go to the interview stage. Now, the interview stage is like a CV situation at that time. And because I think when it's a kind of, and also one thing as a person, as an individual, you've got to know what environment which you will excel in.
Yeah. When
they've got these controlled environments in dental school and all of that, and people can judge you and have subjective views about you, even though they don't know you, like interviews, you know, you may not do well. But when I'm connecting to you face to face, I know you do well. So you got to know what environment that applies to life. There's environments that you won't do well in, and there's environments which you will excel in.
Yeah.
And so what I then had to do, brother, is that I've never been to Scotland before, so I then had to send my CVs. And what I then heard through the grapevine is that some of the foundational trainers were also like clinical tutors in dental schools in the big regions, so they kind of knew who they would take on. So, brother, I had to apply to the north of Scotland.
The real north.
Inverness North. Bro, it was crazy. So I applied to there because all I wanted was a job. That's all I want. I just wanted a job. So And this is during the time of finals.
Yeah.
And everyone knows how finals can be. And I then had to get money from my mum. I had to buy 2 suits, which I was using on rotation for my interview. So I applied to 13 places in that deanery or that area. And I applied around and I got 13 calls for interview, which was amazing. And I went and have like a rank system. So after after that interview, then they can rank you.
Yeah.
And I went to 11 or 12 interviews and I got offers for 10.
Nice.
Which meant that, which gave me confidence that when I'm working on the one-on-one level, like with my patients or whoever, I can engage well.
Yeah.
And there was one practice I had my eye on, and I got on very well with the guy, and everything was good. But then I came across a practice where I applied, and I think they asked me to come for an interview. I was trying to call them, but they weren't picking up. The boss wasn't picking up. So I took it as, oh, okay, it's fine. I had my interviews. So, bro, I was having 2-3 interviews a day.
Yeah.
Learning about I stayed in a hotel. No, it wasn't a hotel. It was a bed sit or whatever you call it. Some place, top of a pub or whatever you call it. I stayed in there. I was the only black guy there, and it was just crazy. And I remember when I landed in Venice, right? I flew there.
Yeah.
Imagine, guy coming from southwest England, from London. What the hell? What are you doing in north of Scotland? Why are you here? And what am I saying? And yeah, and what's funny when I left. So when you come out of the airport, they have that where you rent the cars.
Yeah.
And I rented so then I saw the guy that I landed at 10 o'clock. I told the guy and I said, and he said, I've got a Corsa, like a Vauxhall Corsa. I said, yeah, fine, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm going to go look online.
Yeah.
And I'll come tomorrow. I've got an interview, I'll come tomorrow. And if I don't find anything online, he said, yeah, fine, I'll hold it for you. When I got back to the place, so when I looked at it, I realized what he was offering was cheaper.
Yeah. So
when I then got, when I went back to the place, the airport to where it was.
Yeah.
Online, it said had courses there, but he said, sorry, mate, all the courses are gone. I said, I thought you were going to hold one for me. He said, sorry, mate. I was driving a Vauxhall Zafira.
That's the family, the family car. Yeah.
I still got a picture on my phone. And and what was even more terrible, because this is the first time I rented a car.
Yeah.
What's even more terrible was that when I had 2 crashes. The first one was that, they take a deposit from you, when you rent the car. So obviously, it's the first time I've done it. So they said, I think the excess was like £300.
Yeah.
Fine, like that's no problem. So they said, we'll hold the details on your card and all of that. So I remember when I was trying to put my card through, they were saying I've got no money on the card. I said, no, what do you mean I've got no money on the card? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I had 2 interviews that day. I think what's happening, and then what I realized is that they take the money from your account. 300 excess plus the time you're going to use it for. I could feel the sweat. Bro. So I was ringing my mum. My mum was at work. I rang my brother. And then when I finally got hold to my brother, I said, bro, can you transfer me? He said, why? I said, don't ask me any questions. Just send me. He does that. I pay for it. I then get the Zafira now. So I get the Zafira. Mind you, in the evenings, I'm studying for the interviews, plus I'm studying for my finals. But anyway, I'm getting to the Zafira, and I couldn't find, I think, the handbrake, because it was a brand new one. So I'm trying to look, where's the handbrake? What's the handbrake? So they know these guys that kind of looking over the rental. I said, my friend, look, I've got an interview. What happened? He said, we just got this in yesterday. I'm trying to look for a handbrake. So we and him trying to find a handbrake. Bro, 2-3 minutes, a long 2-3 minutes. We find the handbrakes under some, and then I used my friend's sat nav, which was dodgy.
Yeah.
So that was taking long to load. Then this. So I ring the practice and I'm saying I'm running late. I'm sorry. So I get to the first one. The first one went really well. Overran, which was meant I was late for the second one. When I got to the second one, then the trainer was alright, but the nurse was like, she was being, you're late, all that kind of stuff. And then and that. So
wow,
that was. But what was there's always a silver lining. What was crazy for me was that. So this particular practice, so who I contacted, and I realized that they weren't responding. Yeah. So I kind of left it, but I was happy with the interviews that I did, so I was quite confident. They all ranked me and all of that. Then I got this call from this dentist called Dr. John Barry. So he goes to me, "Oh, hi, this is Kevin." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I'd like to call you for an interview." This me, where? He said, "True." No, he said, "I'm not true and stuff." He said, "I'm in Thurso." And I look, I said, Thurso. I said, "You know what? I'm okay." He said, "No." He said, "Look." He said, "Where are you?" He said, I'm in Inverness. He said, "I'll come down. I've got practice in Inverness. I'll come down and have an interview. When you leaving?" I said, I'll leave in 2 days' time. He said, "Yeah, I'll come." And I thought, you know what? Might as well. This dentist had a private practice, like in a castle type thing. Mm. Oh, yeah. It had like an aesthetics bit. I said, wow. I got there, they were serving me coffee, tea. And I'm thinking, wow. So we started talking, and the guy's telling me he's got 6 practices, he's got his own practice management software. He does this, he's into that. I'm thinking, wow. Halfway through the interview, he goes, scrap all of it. He said, "Oh, the skills. I know you got the skills. You're finally, you're gonna pass anyway. Let's talk real life." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Kevin, I like you."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." And he goes, "I want you to come work for us." I said, "I had this interview here in the world, my eyes on this." But he said, "Look," and we talked about business. He said, "I can see you like business." He said, "Spend 1 year with me, I will teach you business." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, I will teach." He said, "You know what? You got 1 day left. Go to the so this press. I was in Inverness, which is north, but this is north of this is Thurso is like it's like the edge.
Yeah.
Like it's like 100 or so miles, 100, 200 miles once. Anyway, 100 or something miles. So I then said, "Okay, cool," because I was like, "Wow, this guy's killing it and whatever." So then I went, and can you believe they have a train every 2 hours? I missed the train.
Wow.
Because I was studying for my finals up until 3 o'clock in the morning. Then I woke up, I missed it. So then I rang the boss. I said, "Look, I made a mistake. I missed it. The next train is in this time." He goes, because he had someone picking me up. He had his manager picking me up from the
train station.
From the station. What he tells me now, the manager said, "This guy, because he missed the train, forget him. He's not serious. He was like, no, this guy is the real deal. Trust, this guy is solid. Trust me. Just give him a chance." I got the next train, went there. And then, the team were really nice. The trainer was really nice, amazing place. It was a new purpose-built place. I was really had all the equipment and everything. I was like, wow. Then the manager was driving me back to the station. She goes, as I said, "Oh, so, what's the rent like here?" She goes, "Oh, don't worry. Just come. Dr. Barry will take care of that for you." To me, what does that mean? I said, "Just come. he owns a lot of properties around here, so don't worry, you stay one of the properties. I said, wow. So what happened was that after we spoke on the phone, he said, Kev, look, I like you, I want you, and then I'll teach you business, and I end up choosing that as my first choice.
Yeah.
And that's, no one likes to go, but I saw the opportunity. And that year, and then when I actually moved there, the house wasn't ready, so I stayed in his place. It's an 8-bedroom mansion. I tell you, I think the taps was gold. I said, wow. Like, I was blessed. And that 1 year experience where he showed me business, he showed me in workings of a practice, having a business in general, and I learned a lot of clinical stuff there. That shaped and changed my life. So out of crisis, there was opportunity.
Did you ever find out why he really got in touch and pursued you like that?
Good question. Because he had a guy, which I met, was in my call, who was going to choose him, but he chose somewhere else. Yeah. Because he said it was far. And he was really banking on this guy. But because it was kind of a practice, it was a very good practice, but it's a practice that no one really chooses. You only get that place if nobody goes there. So what happened on my study days, when I see all the other trainers, I'm thinking, how the heck did it end up there? Like, I gave you an offer, like, why do you not, it's like, I had to say all sorts of things, but they couldn't really understand. And it's because of the fact that I wasn't only going to learn the clinical stuff, I was going to learn business stuff as well. Business is key because I think when you work in a hospital kind of setting, you're kind of safeguarded from that stuff. You have no idea of how things cost or whatever. But one reason of business, especially on the dentist level, is because you are essentially providing a service for people to pay for. And in the UK, the way everything's set up, if they go to their GP, they don't pay anything. When they come to see us, even on the NHS, some people do pay. And one thing you have to do, you have to be able to communicate the value you're bringing across to the patient. That's in the best interest of the patient. But in order for the patient to get that, in a lot of cases, they'll have to pay for it.
Okay.
And if you can't communicate that well, you will not be able to do the dentistry that you may want to do, which you feel is in the best interest of the patient.
Being able to talk about money with patients.
Yeah, it's key. And because what you're essentially doing is that you're essentially providing a service through the skills you've acquired. Either that's through doing your primary degree dentistry or doing extra courses. But in order to do those skills, it involves time, and that comes at a cost or a price. And that's what dentistry kind of, which our medical colleagues don't have that kind of
dynamic.
That dynamic, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, so when I did my core training, I did core training as well. When I did my core training, you can see 3 or 4 patients a day and do the work you want to do. But if you work on NHS, depending on what practice you go to, you may not have the luxury to see 3 or 4 patients a day, or 3 or 4 patients in the morning, or whatever. So you have to learn to be effective and use your time well. So there's that, and the fact that you're gonna pay staff. You're gonna pay staff. You're gonna pay for your equipment. You're gonna pay for sterilization.
This now you're talking now as a principal.
Yeah,
these are the things I don't have to think about this. So he's now talking as somebody who owns a dental practice. This is okay.
Yeah. And what's scary for me, what was key for me was that I'm kind of missing something out here, but what was key for me was that after my foundation, which was amazing, I went to core training, which was also amazing. But I learned in core training hospital environment, even though I had a very good experience, I knew that it wasn't the best environment for me to thrive. So and I had a very good core training. I did oral surgery, so I had an oral surgery list. I did a bit of max fax. I did ortho. I did peds. I did restorative dentistry. I did it across Kingston and St. George's Hospital. So I had a very good experience. But I knew why, because from the beginning, I wanted autonomy. So I knew that I wasn't going to go down the hospital route. So within 2 months of being in hospital, I applied for an associate job in a private practice.
Okay.
And I could talk about that as well, but if you don't, we can move on to that was key to develop my clinical confidence and communication and presenting myself in such a way where patients would have confidence in me.
All right. Okay.
And that's important because, and I think to be able to connect with your patients, and that's what we do with social media as well. If you're able to find a connect, and I tell you, about 95% of my patients who I come across, I always find some sort of common ground.
Yeah.
No matter if it's patients I see on NHS or private, doesn't matter. I find some common ground.
Yeah.
I may see a patient, like for example, I don't know, if you're my patient and you said you're in Lancashire, I said, look, I had an interview there. I was going to go there. That's the point.
Yeah.
You know, I always find, and I think it's a personality thing. Yeah, I always try and find, and the reason why that's important, because if things don't go the way you want it, treatment-wise with a patient, for whatever reason, if a patient still has faith and still has a connection with you, and you have a solution for them, it will be fine.
Yeah. And the thing is, when patients come to you for the first time, you're a stranger, they're nervous, they've heard bad things about dentists. So by you getting to that common ground, you're winning them over.
Yes, that's it, 100%. And if a patient has enough confidence in you, not everyone will agree with me, but to a certain degree, price of treatment becomes secondary.
Okay.
Why? Because they believe in you and they believe what you're going to deliver. They believe in when you highlight the benefits of the treatment, what you're going to provide, what you think is in the best interest for the patient, and what you will do for yourself or family member. If you communicate that, but that often comes with a price tag.
Yeah.
But able to communicate the benefits and the person believes in you and able to do, and they can see the value in what you provide and the impact it will have on them, they'll pay for it.
That's good. That's good.
You know, and what was scary for me as a principal or working in the practice is that, first of all, what I'm going to do with these hands is going to provide for my nurses who both have kids.
There's responsibility for other people's livelihood.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was something I thought about. Forget about me. Forget about what I'm gonna earn and whatever. It doesn't matter. But the fact that my nurses have young kids and families, that I have to provide that every month they're okay. One thing my boss told me on my VT is that he has to make sure everybody's fine before he then thinks about paying himself.
Okay.
The associates and your nurse are going to make sure, and that was key. Starting a private practice, maybe, I don't know if we go into it now or go into it in another episode.
Let's go into it now. Let's go into it.
Starting a private practice, also generating enough work for the hygienist who travels an hour and a half also to come to the practice. You've got to make it worth a while. Just something else to think about. And there was actually a hygienist who was the busier one. We had two at the beginning who left us because in her mind she wasn't as busy as she'd like to be. Okay. It's fine.
How did you know you were ready to take that step to become a principal?
Because the opportunity presented itself. And yeah, so the opportunity presented itself. I have business partners who provide great support. And also, if I don't do it, someone else presented the opportunity. I'm sure if you present the opportunity now, you've done it. And number three, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to fail.
I think from the story we can tell. Failure means nothing to you. You just keep going.
One thing I didn't say, and one thing that was very key was that the biggest awakening for me in dental school is that I realized that I'm as smart as everybody else on the course. No one was that much smarter than me. We're all about the same level. And for me, that was a big thing because I also thought, oh, these guys are bigger than me. And because of where I come from, I thought, oh, I'm not as great. Yeah. Some of these private school, they had the good education and all these things, so much great general knowledge. For me, I'm a guy that came from the ghetto and I'm trying to make something. I'm trying to make an honest living. I'm trying to get out of the situation I'm in. That's my motive.
Yeah.
But look, I'm with guys who come from all the country and they're well-to-do, middle class, all these kind of things.
Remind us about the A-levels. What were the A-levels again?
C, C, D.
I still can't believe.
All U's. When I finished dental school and I passed, I remember being in Scotland and it took me months to say that, wow, I'm actually made it. Made it. But what was the motivating factor for me? I said, hold on a minute. I was with guys who had a good start in life, who didn't come from single parent home, had everything at their disposal, went to the best of schools. They started here, but I started here. And I finished the same time or the same point with them.
Yeah.
And I said, if I can do that,
yeah.
If I apply myself at this current stage where I'm at now, as newly qualified dentist, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my philosophy. Because if I can make it from Fulton Heath and still make it, if I keep the same power, same ingenuity, same motivation, that's what I thought. You know what? Start this practice. No, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna. The thing is, there's only ways out.
Yeah.
It has to work.
Yeah.
It may not work this way, it may not work that way, but it has to work. Simple as.
Wow.
And that's my philosophy.
So